everybody, how are you doing on Sunday? My Sunday Java Talk, where I just kind of either update about my life or things I've been learning and reading about and getting inspiration from and making me go, and thinking further about things. I'm going to give you some book references, book reviews type of thing, and it really got me to thinking, and it really helps to teach you to appreciate what you have in life. I didn't have but one grandfather that I was very, very close to, and he did share some stories about his life. He was born in 1919. He's no longer with me. I miss him terribly. He's been gone for 21 years now. So one of the books that I purchased off of Amazon is called When the Banks Closed, We Opened Our Hearts. And this is from Reminisce magazine. They compiled a bunch of people's life stories in the United States during, the 1930s when everyone was going through the Great Depression. And these books have it's just amazing, to hear what these people had to go through just to survive and how little they had and how nothing went to waste. It makes you really think about what a throwaway society, how spoiled we are nowadays. These people had the strength and got through so much that, can you imagine like tomorrow waking up on Monday, today's Sunday, the 24th of February, 2019, can you imagine for just a moment if the reality for everybody in the United States was we woke up tomorrow morning on our way to work or on our way to take the kids to school or on the way to the market to pick up some odds and ends, and you went to use your ATM card and it wouldn't work and it said no funds on the prompter. And so we drive to our banks like, what's going on? And we go to our banks and the banks tell us that we have nothing in our savings account, we have nothing in our checking account, there's nothing, just what you have on you or in your home or change that you might have in your car. Everyone's bank accounts were empty. Their whole life savings they lost. So I've been reading this book. I'm almost finished with it. I've got this much left, and I've read the whole book, every story, everything in print in this book from cover to cover. It has really opened my eyes and gave me another perspective that I so greatly appreciate, and would like to thank this Reminisce and the publishing company for even thinking about compiling these stories of history and what our grandparents and our great-grandparents, depending on when we were born, what they went through, the hardships, and how strong and persevering these people were. And instead of turning on each other like we do in the United States today, especially concerning politics, we're all Americans. No matter what party you want to classify yourself in, we're all Americans. We all live here. We're supposed to be one huge united family of people because we live in this wonderful country. That is not how we behave now. These people helped people that knocked on their back doors. Hobos, travelers, people traveling from one side of the country to the next, searching for jobs to try to support their families, to send just a few little dollars because they didn't make the wages we make now. You really should look into getting this. It's on Amazon. I bought this used and it's like brand new. I also bought, this is another edition of a book through the same people that I'm going to be moving on to once I get done When the Banks Closed and We Opened our hearts. These people had people knocking on their back doors they didn't even know. that were so freaking hungry they hadn't ate in like 2, 3, 4 days straight, and asked if they had anything to spare that they might be able to eat, or could they work for some food. And these people opened their homes, their doors, whether they invited them inside their house or whether they brought it out to them in nice weather to eat, you know, like on a picnic table or something, and fed people they didn't even know, helped people. You don't see that hardly at all anymore nowadays. All you see on the news and in the media is just murders and homicides and suicides and protests and violent protests and, you know, missing children and missing young women. And, you know, and then of course we get to hear all the negative crap concerning the politics and people going nuts, you know, against this party, and people saying stuff about that party, and it's like, God, that's sick. Then it's, the other one is called We Had Everything But Money, and I have read a small portion of this book. I still have to get through this one, of course. And then after I get done reading those, I also purchased Life in the Fantastic 40s, because I would like to know about the 40s, since you all know that I love 20s, 30s, and 40s music. Love it. Makes my soul just sing and dance around inside myself. I even dance around the house sometimes doing, you know, like the Bugle Boy, and I just love that. So I'm going to be working on this last. But I wanted to tell you guys to start trying to live more frugally. You know, try to really take stock of how much we have. I know I have a lot, especially compared to our ancestors and what they went through. You know, I try to be more mindful about, before I throw something out, is there any possibility that I could use it for anything else? People back in this time didn't even throw out cardboard from any food products that they purchased, let's say, or Sears Roebuck was huge back then. You know, if they ordered anything like just a couple yards of cheap on-sale fabric and it came, let's say, in some sort of cardboard, people would use that cardboard and not even throw it away like we do into our recyclables. They would have to cut soles out for their children's shoes because there were such holes in their shoes in the dead of winter, and place the cardboard in their shoe to try to keep the wet snow, you know, and maybe wrap it in like some sort of cellophane or, you know, any type of material that would help keep the water off their children's feet so they wouldn't get sick. I mean, it's just amazing, amazing what these people went through. And they still reached out to their neighbors. If they had a backyard vegetable garden, let's say, their excess, if you know, if you're a homesteader and a gardener, we all end up with excess at the end of the harvest season. More than what we can more than what we can freeze, more than what we can dehydrate, and we still have excess. And so they would just take them to their neighbors. It wasn't just the neighbors they liked, or just the neighbors that were their same political affiliated party. They helped people. You know, they helped feed people they didn't even know. They've never met in their life, didn't know anything about. You know, it's just amazing. And it's heartbreaking to see what society's turning into nowadays. I do not have a Facebook. I do not have Twitter. You know, I do not have MySpace. I do not have anything other than email, YouTube, because I truly love doing my YouTube channels, and that's it. Oh, and Pinterest. I have Pinterest. That's it. You know, I don't need to be connected to every facet imaginable to mankind to connect to people online. I think people should go back to the old school ways, and if you miss or are thinking of someone and you're wondering how they're doing, or you've missed, you know, hearing their laugh, or you've missed doing things with them because years and months have passed and you haven't gotten together with that person, I think you had to do old school ways and call the person up on an actual telephone. Hey, Sally, I'm using as an example. how you doing? I haven't talked to you in how many years? You know, what are you doing next week or 2 weeks from now on this date? You want to get together? You want to go have lunch? You want to catch up? That's what people should start doing instead of texting, posting about yourself, getting an instant like, an instant thumbs up, a heart, you know, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you a heart, you know. Everyone's after nowadays such instant self-gratification. It's just, there's no more reaching out and contacting and getting hold of people. And you know, if you do have neighbors that aren't horrific, because I do understand about horrific neighbors, been there. If they're not horrific people where they're just awful, you know, go to the fence line, go to the property line and say, hey, John Doe, you know, how you been? Is there anything that you need help with that you've, you know, not gotten to because you couldn't do it maybe by yourself? Any elderly people, you know, that you can do something to help them. Reach out to people. Humanitarian efforts are so valuable, especially in today's society. So that is basically where my mind has been lately. While we're still waiting for the horrendous weather and winter to go away, I'm so ready for spring. I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of thinking, you know, a lot of organizing, and of course I loaded my last videos about making jar candles. That's being frugal. Although the ingredients, you know, all together that you need, and all the supplies are not dirt cheap, you got to think about it this way. You can make bulk, you know, and you've got fragrance. Whereas if you go to Wally World, yeah, you can get maybe a jar from anywhere from $3.89 to $5.99 or whatever, but it doesn't have any fragrance to it. It's white, you know. Sometimes they'll have their jar candles that are fragrant on sale, and you know, you can get a good deal, but I'm talking day to day. And if you need many candles, because I am very much a candle person, candle, incense cones, that is very much who I am. Incense oils, things like that. I am very much sensory. Smell sensory is very important to me. I also love candles burning in the glowing flame, you know, that I just love that. So, and I like to make my home cozy and delicious to be in, and especially during the winter time, because I do tend to suffer from seasonal depression. I don't do well during the winter because winters can last up to 6 months in the Midwest for us sometimes, and I very much need to be outside and be in nature and be in the sun and, you know, feel the breeze against my face and blowing through my hair, and that fills me up inside. So when I don't get that because it's extremely cold, or with wind chill factor it's 50 below zero, I'm not going outside. Not doing it. So, you know, making my home cozy and making candles with the fragrances that I just love, and finding little projects of organization or rearranging, you know, the rooms and stuff like that, that really helps. It helps a lot. And I do a ton of reading in the winter. Do a lot of research, a lot of reading, subjects I haven't had a chance prior in my life to get to. That's what I take time to do in the winter. Okay guys, I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to finish drinking my Java. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Remember, be appreciative, reach out, learn all you can about our ancestors and what they went through. And don't become one of the many ducks in the line, quack, 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 with society. You're unique, you're special, there's only one of you. Don't get caught up in societal bullcrap, you know. Fight against it. Don't lose who you are inside. Don't lose your humanity and your humanitarian, you know, cares for the world. Help out in soup kitchens of the homeless. Give things to the homeless shelters. Don't be the throwaway society where you just waste money and waste everything because we're so pampered nowadays. Reach out to friends you haven't spoke to in a while. Call them. Don't you like listening to someone's voice and when they laugh and giggle and, you know, seeing them in person and you get to witness their personalities? That's what makes you love and adore someone. So forget the texting, forget the, you know, photo where you sent Instagram, forget the tweetering. I mean, that's stuff, you know, it's no problem if you're using it once in a blue moon, but if that's your main way, like it is for the younger generation, to communicate with people, something's very wrong. All right, guys, blessed be and have a great weekend. Bye.